Hello, it's Jayma Malme. Today I'm going to be documenting some holiday memories from last year. I've got two photos here that are actually 3x4 photos, so I wanted to show them to you here while they are still together, because what I do is just collage them and then print them as a 4x6 and cut them apart. And I have many videos showing various ways to do that, and I will link some down below. I'm using the A Little Bit Festive kit to document these memories. So I was showing you there that I put them in those little paper sleeves, and that's how I store all of my paper now, and I'm absolutely loving it. It works really well for this kit in particular because there are 3 sheets of paper that I've shown you here, and then there's also all of these little pop-outs. So some of them are like 3x4 size like this, and some of them are frames like this one here. And so if you pop out all the pieces or even keep them on the sheets, it's nice to have them in those little 12x12 envelopes so it keeps everything safe and secure and together. I love how many little embellishments come with this. So there's lots of options for scrapbook embellishing or for cards. I'm using this sketch here from one of the creative design team's sketchbooks. I will link to it down below. We have several 12x12 sketchbooks as well as other sizes. And at first I thought I would have my photos so that the kids are looking in, because I don't typically like it when people are looking outside of the page, but I decided to have them look outside the page in this particular layout because that's how they're positioned in the back seat of the truck. So even though all of these little embellishments are from the same kit, a lot of them have different looks to them. So I did a preliminary separation and kind of separated things. And then I did another separation because like these ones have the same look and feel to them. And it's different from all of these other bright colors that I think really go with the paper that I've chosen and my photos. There's also this little mix and match ephemera set. This set is sold out now, but it has a lot of the same icons that are smaller. So this one's meant more for cards. So I decided to pull some of those out as well, just a few of them, like the poinsettias I thought worked well with that large poinsettia, and that way I could have a repeating element on the page. Now it's time to select my paper, and I have the sketch in front of me, so I know where the paper is going to go, but I just need to select which paper is going to go where. And sometimes that's the hardest part for me. I really like these colors together, but I didn't like so much pattern. So I'm going to pull in this blue wood grain because I really like the blue. I have a lot of blue in my photos, and I like it there between the red and the green patterns. Since I have a lot of blue in my photos, I want the blue to be in the paper, but to just be in a, just an accent, just a little bit, so that it stands out more in my photos. Now I decided on this configuration with the green trees, which is my favorite pattern from the pack, as my big piece. And I did that because I don't have a ton of green in my photos. I really just have it in that that lighted tree photo. And so I like how it drew the green to the rest of the page. And I specifically have that photo far away from that paper so it doesn't get kind of drowned out, and so it's not over that. However, I regret this decision later on once I start my embellishing, so I will explain that as we go and you can learn from my mistake. So now I'm deciding what color mat I want to use. So I've got blue, I've got green, I've got red. I wasn't loving any of those options. The red really makes the photos look really red. And then the green was going to be right on top of the green paper. I found this, I had just these little scraps of gold foil, and I decided to use those. I really like how the gold pops off of everything and really brings that shine in. But I don't want to waste any of that gold foil paper, so I am going to cut out the center of all of the photo mats. So we're just going to have the gutted frame behind the photos. So I'm showing you how I'm going to do that here. Sometimes I have to kind of cut the little corners because I don't get it perfect with the trimmer. But now I have some gold foil scraps that I can use to cut out my gold foil leaves for my embellishments. Now I'm going to do the same thing here for this larger mat, but I'm not going to show you the whole thing. However, I was able to gut that out and then cut that piece down to mat this one and then gut that again. So that larger piece I actually got 2 mats out of, and you would never know that it's missing a big chunk out of it. So now I'm going to start with my embellishing. I've got a couple of stamp sets. I've got this golden greenery set, which has some really awesome sprigs and leaves. And then I got this one from my Close to My Heart stash. I think this Magical Memories is going to make the perfect title. It goes perfectly with this little light parade that we did. I love the mesmerized look on the kids' faces as they were looking at all of the lights, and to me that just screamed magical. Now I'm going to start adding all of my little embellishments here, and this is where I was starting to regret that decision to put the green pattern paper down, because I'm going to have a lot of green little sprigs around my embellishments and they just kind of blend in. So I'm going to add extra gold and then some green glitter paper to help them stand out. But first I want to stamp my sentiment or my title here. Now I was at a retreat, the retreat I've talked about several times now. I made quite a few pages at this retreat in Texas, and my friend Callie had the memory Misty, this big 12 by 12 Misty. I do not have one of these, but I loved using it for the title. If you are a timid stamper and you like to stamp directly onto your layouts, this was perfect because I could make sure I got it exactly where I wanted it. And then if my stamping didn't turn out the first time, which it did, it worked really nicely, I could have stamped it again in the same spot. Because sometimes it can be scary to stamp right on your layouts, right? So that made it really nice. So I now have that on my wish list. I'm going to have to remember that for next Christmas or my birthday or something. Now I wanted some gold splatters, and typically I would use my gold watercolor paints to do this, but I didn't have them at my retreat, so I used my gold enamel effects, and then I added a little bit of water with my water brush. I probably should have watered it down a little bit more because it was a little bit thick, but I watered it down just enough to be able to splatter it, and that worked in a pinch. So if you have enamel effects or liquid pearls or stickles, you can actually water it down and use it as splatter if you'd like. So some of the splatters turned out a little bit bigger and thicker than I wanted, but I just gave them some time to dry. It did take a little bit longer, but you know what? It worked in a pinch. So I'm happy with how it turned out, and I've got my gold splatters. So I'm going to start adding these leaves back in, and I cut some more out of gold foil so that I was hoping that the greenery would pop off of the green background a little bit more because of the gold. And then I cut some green glitter sprigs because I thought the green glitter would stand off of that a little bit more. Now at this point I was thinking, okay, I think I can make it work. And I think if, I did make it work, it's just not ideal. I probably would do it different if I went back to do it. I was also trying to hurry because there was a layout contest using this paper pack because Cindy gifted this pack to all of us, and I was at the very end of the deadline trying to hurry to get it in. So I didn't really have a lot of time to think and look at it again and again and again like I typically would do. A lot of times I leave my layout out for a little bit and come back to it, and I didn't have that luxury, so I just had to go with it. So I'm going to continue playing with all of the little pieces that came with the kit, as well as that poinsettia is from the Mix and Match ephemera pack, the one with the smaller elements. And I'm going to add a bunch of sprigs. I like to add the same elements to each cluster, so I'm going to add these little sprigs up here in the top left, and that's going to create the third point of interest in my visual triangle. And oop, here is a little guest appearance from Erin at Crafty Concepts with Erin. We were at this retreat together and thought it would be fun if she made a little appearance in my video, so she helped me place my poinsettia. One of the things I really like about these sprigs from the Golden Greenery set is that you can just tear pieces off of them and use little pieces or use big pieces. So I love that, and I'm going to do it again here. Help stretch that one die cut into multiple die cuts because I just wanted little pops of the gold over here in these smaller clusters. Now I'm going to mess around with these little pieces over here a little bit more until I get them how I like them. Of course, I need to add more of these little glitter sprigs here because I don't have any of those in there yet. And I'm going to play around with some other options. I'm going to stick with the tree and the poinsettia and the ornament. However, this ornament that I'm going to leave right here, looking back, I don't like how the green top of that ornament just kind of blends into the green paper in that background. So I'm going to fix that, and you'll see how I do that at the end of the video. At this point, I felt like I needed a little more blue since I have so much blue in my photos, just little pops. So I had that little sentiment, and I think that was perfect under the tree so that that tree had something to rest on. I added a few little peppermints to fill out that big cluster, and I love the finishing touch of that bow over on the right. Now, I wish I would have stopped there with those 3 clusters, but I kept going. I felt like it was too blank up here on the top right or the top left page because all I had up there was the title. But looking back, I really liked it and I wish I would have left it. But it's all glued down now and there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm still happy with the layout and I'm happy that this is documented and I still like it. I just think I could have stopped much sooner. So maybe you can take a lesson from me and, don't be in a rush when you scrapbook. I was in a rush and I didn't take the time that I normally do to just sit and live with a layout for a little bit before committing to everything. And so I think that was the issue. But that's okay. I'm still happy with it, and you're still going to see me building clusters. And I know that's something that a lot of you have mentioned that you struggle with is building clusters. And so, you're still going to get that concept. I start with the biggest pieces, and then it's really easy to fill in with sprigs. They're the easiest thing to fill in clusters with, whether it's just the little greenery sprigs or those gold foil sprigs or anything else, because you can just kind of tuck them here and there behind all of the other pieces to help fill out your clusters. So I'm adding some finishing touches, and then I'm going to show you a close-up of the final result. So here we are. Overall, I'm really happy with it. As you can tell, I added some of those little peppermints as well. So the peppermints as well as this paper pack are supposed to be back in stock sometime this week. I've been dying to get more of those little peppermints because they're such a cute little finishing touch. Now here's what I did to help that ornament stand out a little bit better. I added another little circle behind it, and I think that worked really well over on that side. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you'd like to see the layout I made about this retreat, that's on screen now. I'll meet you over there, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.